Well, welcome back to another episode of CSPN. Excited to be here. We've got a brand new segment for you called Saith the Goat. Stay tuned for that. But first, we want to get you updated on some of the latest news here in the sports world, starting with the NBA playoffs. We've got the 2025 NBA playoffs going, and things are really getting spicy around here. Minnesota Timberwolves have already advanced to the Western Conference Finals after a decisive 4-1 series win over the Golden State Warriors. Anthony Edwards, your boy, featured in our latest podcast. He's been balling, I'm not going to lie.
If he just sticks to what he can do.
Yeah, exactly. He's been hooping. No, I don't have any news of any more children, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
if they win a championship.
They're coming. It takes 9 months.
if they win a championship.
We'll hear about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, 3 that night.
So in the East, the Pacers. In the East, the Pacers have they have a spot in the conference finals. They defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers 4-1. That series is a little disappointing with all the injuries, but anyhow, Boston Celtics have lost Jason Tatum to an Achilles injury, and
pretty much my boy now. I thought for our millions of fans, if you don't know, I have toward both my Achilles.
Both.
So both.
That twice over, you know what that's like.
Yeah.
What do you think he's going through?
I mean, I think he just signed a Supermax contract before this year, so probably with a lot of guaranteed money. So I'm sure he is legitimately frustrated, reasonably so. He's probably been intimidated because few people really make it back to where they were at.
Yeah.
With this injury, I believe it's the least statistical probability of basically all common sports injuries to make it back to where you were. There was a study done out of a soccer team following the European soccer leagues over like a decade of Achilles ruptures, and less than 25% made it back, even though they were pro soccer players. To like within a year or two, they ended up just tapping out of like they recovered, go back to playing, and they just don't make it. And then amongst even the 25 who did make it, none of them had the success that they were having before. It's just a very permanent injury that has a lot of consequences. So that's why it's infamously the Achilles heel.
Yeah. Yikes, man. Well, I love watching him play. I hope he gets to make it back on the court.
He probably will. I mean, he's good enough. He has the natural ability. With surgery happening within 24 hours, the PT we have these days, I'm sure he'll be back. I'm sure he'll be still a superstar.
Yeah.
He'll just probably, I'm sure, also testify like, I didn't notice.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin Durant tore his Achilles, so it's not impossible.
Yeah.
He's still very much an impact player, and that was later in his career. So there's a chance there. They still did get a victory over the Knicks in Game 5, so they forced a Game 6. But knowing the New Yorkers, they probably just want to win that Game 6 at home anyway. So another playoffs, NHL playoffs, which is very interesting because these Canadian teams are starting to come back into the mix. Winnipeg Jets clinched the President's Trophy with the best regular season record. First time in franchise history. Edmonton Oilers advanced to the Western Conference Final after a 1-0 overtime victory against the Vegas Golden Knights. Toronto Maple Leafs are currently in a battle with the Florida Panthers, having a very high-scoring series. I don't know if you watch a whole lot of hockey, but it's actually very fun to watch. I don't know what's going on, to be honest with you, but it is fun.
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited. So, moving on to MLB, though, surprisingly, the Giants, early contenders. Who would have seen this?
I mean, the NL West is the 3 of the best 5 teams in the MLB.
Yeah.
So it's, I didn't see that coming either.
Right.
I thought it'd be another showdown between the Dodgers and Padres, and that it is, but there's another contender, and the Diamondbacks are also a great team with Corbin Carroll playing out of his mind. So, I mean, the Diamondbacks can easily make a run, and it can be a legitimate 4-team race. I mean, I think if the Diamondbacks were in basically any other league, they would be in, like, at worst, second.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's going to be we got a lot of season to go, so
Yeah.
anything can happen, obviously,
Yeah.
but it's very, very interesting in that division what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the Padres, not respectable, 27-15.
I think they tied it up for first again.
Oh, did they? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Last time I checked, they were just behind.
Dodgers, I think they went up half a game. Dodgers went up half a game last night when they beat the Athletics.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah, so just behind.
Behind.
Just still being little bro a little bit.
Not for long.
Yeah, we'll see. I saw a stat today. Bullpen's been a highlight. 1.66 ERA.
Till the last couple weeks, they've been struggling. Still a great bullpen, but the last couple weeks, they've blown some games.
Yeah,
including Suarez's first blown save. Walk 4 people. Guy comes in, gets an out. So there's 2 outs. Gets to a 2-strike count. Guy hits a grand slam. It's actually the worst bullpens I've ever seen. It was like 6 runs in the ninth inning.
And I remember a couple of podcasts ago we talked about sports betting, and a couple of my friends had legitimate money on the Padres, and I sat there watching it with them, and it almost ruined their whole night.
Oh yeah,
it basically did ruin their whole night.
Oh yeah,
because watching that, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, it's brutal. I mean,
I thought they were going to come out of it.
They should have. I mean, that was his first blown save. He was 17-17. It was the longest streak in MLB right now, active streak, even dating into last year. It was like 26 game saves in a row or something. And he only even has given up 1 run, and it wasn't even a save opportunity. It was in the 8th inning of a game that he was warming up for. It was kind of a unique situation why he came in the 8th inning as our closer. But outside of that, he had not even given up a run in any of his saves. Yeah. So he had a 0 ERA in 17 games.
That's a baller stat right there. That is no longer a stat anymore. Yeah, but that's really, man. Next, this has been the craziest thing for me all week.
Yeah.
In a stunning turn of events, the Dallas Mavericks get the number 1 pick in the draft with a 1.8% chance. A 1.8% chance of getting. So, for those of our listeners that don't know, it's NBA is not the same as NFL. So, NFL, if you have the worst record, you get the first pick. But in the NBA, if you have the worst record, it's like a lottery. So you basically get more names in the hat to get drawn on one of the top 15 picks. So if you just happen to be the 15th worst, you're not going to have as many names in the hat. So Dallas Mavericks were one of those like higher low teams this year. So they had a literal 1.8%.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be much lower than that, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think.
Like I've never looked at that ladder.
Yeah, no, but there was the ladder there, and they were basically like it looked about as bad as maybe someone had like 1.5, but they were like about as bad as it could get. Yeah. So you think about it, like they traded away like Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
The reaction was obviously a lot stronger than what they imagined.
Yep.
And then God literally saves Nico Harrison's job.
Wait, is that the GM?
Yeah.
I thought he did get fired.
No, he didn't get fired. You might be thinking of the Grizzlies or
okay. I thought he did.
Coach and GM. You might be thinking of the Nuggets. The Nuggets fired their GM and their coach.
Oh wow.
But no, Nico Harrison was within the organization. He's being backed and supported. All the fans absolutely hate him. But turns around, gets the number 1 pick, and it's one of those years where it's a no-brainer. Like Cooper Flagg must be picked number 1.
He's going to trade him for Tatum now. Trade the number 1 pick for Tatum.
He's really guys really come back from those Achilles. Have you seen Kevin Durant? Yeah. So Cooper Flagg, dude, 6'9". He's a 2-way player, plays offense and defense, can handle the ball.
Yeah.
They literally might have an American Luka Doncic on their hands.
Yeah.
And that is kind of what their complaints were, is like Luka was too European for them. Like he'd like to hang out and drink beers and
for Dallas
burgers and yeah.
Dallas was like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is more than around here?
You need to be in the gym night and day.
Yeah.
315 on your back.
Not us in Dallas.
No, not us.
But you do.
You can catch me at Whataburger, but you all salads.
I know a lot of Texans. Every Texan sounds like that. No,
yeah, absolutely.
They wish they did.
Yeah.
If I was in Texas, that's how I'd talk. Honestly, I would change my voice.
I spent 5 minutes in Texas and got an accent. So just being in the airport, that's all it takes.
I mean, if I would want that. So as much as it might seem like I'm trying to make fun of people, I'm not.
You're making fun of people
a little bit, but
it's one of the greatest out there. But I can't believe this turn of events. It's crazy. As a Laker fan, I'm happy. I'm happy because it makes us look a little bit less like the villains.
I mean,
and it worked out for everyone.
Shocking. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
Maybe he'll make the wrong pick for first.
Oh my goodness, that would be the wildest thing.
Yeah,
like if they think anything other than
second-hand point guard for New Mexico State.
Yeah, you're right. State, not New Mexico.
Yeah. I knew I got that wrong. Actually, your guys' forward was balling.
Oh yeah, we have guys come out of. We've had names come out of Mexico.
Well, I think you had a forward last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago, who transferred to
Obi Toppin.
Yeah.
He's in Texas Tech now.
Okay,
that's just a New Mexico thing, man. Especially these days, coaches don't stick around, players don't stick around.
Yeah, because he was in Texas Tech made it to what, the Elite Eight or
yeah.
So
I think they made Elite.
I remember seeing him, and all the guys were like, "Yeah, this guy's a baller."
Yeah, no, he was so great for us. And just our guy, wow, our really good point guard, just transferred as well.
Oh, really?
To UCLA. So,
they haven't been good in a long time. I feel like.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Big market.
Switching back over to baseball, you watched a fun game the other day involving the Padres.
Oh, yeah.
Share what?
Yeah, I mean, Padres won 21-0 at Coors. So Coors is famously known for the thin air, Mile High City, home runs for days. And so you always expect higher numbers. I think game one was Padres won 13-9. Which with their pitching, I think that was the highest they've given up and the highest they'd scored until the next night when they won 21-0, which did break some MLB records. It was the second largest shutout in MLB history. I think to get back to a tied shutout, it was 1883 or something. I didn't even know the MLB was around then.
Wow.
Yeah. It was in the 1800s, late 1800s. I don't remember the exact thing.
For a tied shutout.
For a tied for 21-0. It's like a shutout that large.
Oh, got you.
But yeah, great game. But it did lead to some thoughts as to the Rockies are in the NL West, which we talked about. We talked about the other 4 teams in the NL West. The Rockies are at the bottom of that totem pole, and not only that, they're at the bottom of the MLB totem pole. They secured in that series against the Padres 1 win of the 3, which was their 7th win, I think, out of the first 40 games.
Yeah, I saw they're on track to lose 109 games right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're on track to win.
That's a lot of losing.
It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, they're on track. I think I heard a statistic on the radio that the worst team record in MLB history was it was held by a team that isn't even a team anymore. I forget where they were and what they were called. But in their first 40 games, they had secured 8 wins. And the Diamondbacks only secured 7 wins. So they're on track as of right now to have the worst record in baseball history. And the problem is, teams go through rebuilding phases.
Yeah.
But that's not the Rockies.
And they're still making money.
They're still making money. They're still profitable. And the owners don't invest in getting better players. So
how long has this been for? I'm not how long would you say?
They made the playoffs in 2018. It's the last time they made the playoffs. I don't think they made it even through the first round. I don't know very well. So you'd have to look through how far they really made it. But I don't know. Prior to that, I'm pretty sure they were pretty bad. 2017 to 2018, I think they both made the playoffs both years. Prior to that, I think it had been a while.
Mm-hmm.
Even that, though, that's 7 years ago now.
Yeah.
From even having made the playoffs, I know they didn't win the World Series. So you have since then, I think since 2021 in particular, I mean, I think their record is consistently like sub 400 winning, almost 300, like 3 out of every 10 games. So it's just like, what are we doing here? What, your winning record shouldn't be the same as a really good batting average of 3 and 10. So it's like you got to invest in some pitchers.
If batting averages are this low,
why can't I don't know if they're confused, but it begs some questions as to the owners of these teams, whether it be MLB,
this is NBA, in sports all over.
Sure. Should they have? Let's say, should they be able to say with a clean conscience, I'm putting the best team out there I can? And you can always make room for more, right? If it, let's say the luxury tax limit, I don't know what exactly it is. Let's say it's $200 million, right? If you want to put a team out there for $100 million, but it's a consistently good team, you're just like, I'm just not going to be the Dodgers who break the luxury tax or the Yankees every year. It's not my strategy, but I put forward a good team. That's different than I don't know I should just look up what the Rockies budget is right now. Up the Rockies payroll, their payroll is in the bottom third, but
bottom third of like money spent, like
all the teams
out of all the teams.
Yes, but it's at the top of the bottom third.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay,
so 120 million.
Okay.
To put in perspective, the Mets are over 300 million. Dodgers and Yankees, I think, are about 300 million, but they're like the other end of the spectrum.
So basically,
a lot of teams are like 150.
Okay.
It's probably normal. So they're not actually failing to spend egregiously, which actually begs the question then of, I just don't know the Rockies' dynamics. Is he hiring too many friends in the front office? If they're putting money out there, why are they so consistently bad? Is their GM not good and he's locked into too long of a contract? Like somewhere along the line, mistakes are being made. Yeah. If you're putting that kind of money in and you're producing consistently a very bad team.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just found stat that in 2011, they've won one series.
Yeah.
2011. Since 2011, they have won one series.
One playoff series. Not the World Series. Just say
one playoff series. And that must have been the first round, which is best 2 out of 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
So like they've really only won 2 playoffs.
I could probably win. I could probably pull off 2 out of 3.
Like 2 playoff
once every
games
20 years
that they've won. But even bigger than that, going back to 2005, since they really got involved, the owners of the Rockies, 4 playoff appearances.
Yeah, it's crazy.
4 appearances in 20 years.
Something's wrong. I know the owners cry a foul that they want salary caps so that...
Ooh, this is a good one. I love talking about salary caps.
Bigger spenders don't invest too heavily to make it an unfair league. But I also looked up the revenue, and in 2024... the Rockies' revenue was $318 million. So the 123 payroll is just the payroll for the players, right?
There's all kinds of other expenses.
So there's other expenses.
Yeah.
But let's just say it's another $100 million. Because I don't think there's going to be more expenditure than the players.
Even if you give them $200 million, there's still $100 million left over. Right, you said $400 million in revenue?
No, 318.
Oh, okay.
So with another $100 million in other staffing, usually it's more of an initial investment for the ballpark, but assuming there's a mortgage on that, but it's not going to equal the players. The players are always the most expensive line item, but even just assuming it matches it. We're still talking about a year-over-year profit in the quick math, $60, $70 million a year over year. So the people are showing up to Rockies games. They're spending money. They have a fan base that's loyal. Like they've been a bad team for a while. So like in 2024, they're still just showing up. They're like, we're doing our part.
So it doesn't look like the Oakland A's stadium. Like that's what I imagine. Like a team that bad. Like why are they not empty like that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've never been. I have been to Denver to watch a basketball game. I've never been to Coors Field. Though.
That's just so fascinating to me because it makes. To me, I've always said like it is a business, and like at the end of the day, businesses are in business to like make a profit, and there's ownership upon the consumers as well. So it's like we make it, for example, like McDonald's. McDonald's is killing us. They're also making a killing because we keep going.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, I remember in like 1999, they added below McDonald's sign over 99 billion served. Okay, there's only like 6-7 billion people in the world in 1999, which means every person in the world
has been served.
Has at McDonald's like 6-7 times. Or
guilty as charged.
A lot of people have had it a lot of times.
Yeah, right.
And most have not had McDonald's.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but it's just it's like the fans enable them to be mediocre by keep showing up, by watching the games, by buying the merchandise. Yeah. Like they're really just profiting off of loyalty. And it's like, I mean, and then it makes you think, it's like, dang, do these teams really deserve our loyalty? Like if we're bought in because we want them to win, then maybe there is something to the bandwagon or the boycotting of it. It's like, why would I buy? Like this team has consistently made awful decisions. Why would I keep buying their merchandise, going to their games, having them make money on ads by watching them on TV? I'm just adding to their profit and just affirming their business strategy, which.
Yeah, it does add a light to the bandwagon.
Their business strategy is let's make $50 to $100 million a year and call it a day and let's have fun watching baseball and eating hot dogs and drinking beers.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, which if that is an ethos of the MLB, then so be it. I don't think it is. I think it's a ethos.
Yeah.
You know,
the casualness of it. Yeah.
But certainly amongst the players, I'd say the GMs, and I think the average fan says, you know, there's a preeminent ethos of wanting to win a World Series. So that is certainly the heartbeat of, I think, most players, at least the good ones, the competitive ones. And so even when you're thinking, when they're doing interviews or assessing who they're going to invest in, it's like almost, it would be a red flag, I imagine, the Rockies GM office when they're thinking about doing another big contract, signing a free agent. If the guy's like, all I want to do is win a World Series, they're like,
right,
not our guy. That's just not our guy.
Yeah, I think
so.
Yeah,
you know, but you have to. Yeah. I mean, these are. I'm saying this a bit jokingly, but
aren't they getting high draft picks too? On top of like all these losing
probably.
records? Like,
I mean, baseball draft is so
doesn't matter as much.
Interesting because it takes so long for it to produce results.
Oh, that's true.
Everything else is often like you can be a star rookie.
Yeah,
in the NBA.
Yeah,
pretty much nobody gets drafted and then like plays because. It's so
It's
different.
been 20 years of sucking.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you think somebody it's probably better to just take your stars. But that also is another big element of the MLB is recruiting and the draft and then international recruiting. Whereas that's not as big, I feel like, in other sports. NBA is very limited in the draft. You know, whereas baseball is like, it's endless. It's an endless draft. And most of those players never make it to the MLB. They just work through the tiers of different various minor leagues, which there's like 3 or 4.
Wow.
Till you get to the MLB. Whereas like in the NBA, there's G League, and it's not even that big of a thing. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I mean, just if you were to pick, right? If you were, I think Rob Manfred, the commissioner of MLB, what ethos do you think is better? Ooh. I want teams that win, or I want to produce a product that the average, let's say, American and even international person just wants to attend?
Obviously, if I'm me, I'm the competitor. I obviously want to put out competition.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking from a business perspective, though, there are more casuals than there are the actual fanatics that are studying and wanting to see it. And for whatever reason, the dynamic of baseball, it's easier to be a casual baseball fan. Like 3 strikes, you're out. Like, you know what I mean? It's very,
the whole nature of watching a game is just a much more casual
exactly.
experience.
Yeah. And the nature of watching a game is very casual. So it's easy to catch on. Like football I think is a very complex for sure. There's complexities in baseball. There's complexities in everything. But like people are way more lost.
It's not a full-blown strategy game.
Exactly.
Football is it is a strategy game that then matches in skill set.
Right.
And baseball is a bit more like a very fine skill set to be able to see a ball, hit a ball, pitch the way they pitch.
Right.
But even the way that these guys work around the field, there's always utility men, and it's like, oh, he's going to play in left field, and tomorrow he's going to play shortstop, and the next day he's going to play in right field. And I'm like, are these guys that good, or is it just not that hard to play those positions?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
because the thing that gets me thinking is there's some kind of balancing act here, because you as I've been to baseball games with you, and you enjoy the casualness and also the purity of the sport.
Yep.
So obviously you're probably not wanting a pendulum swing either way. So it's it seems like there's a little bit of a tension there that causes some kind of conflict of interest, because you aim so much on the entertainment piece that you lose there's actual real skills happening here that ought to be recognized.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm like?
Yeah. I almost think you would need some measure of penalizing bad teams to encourage greater competitiveness. I guess if I was going to lean on one side or the other, it would be a product that is accessible to the masses at that stage. Is kind of what you're going for. Unless you're just going for all out glory, then you're going to make it accessible. It's going to have a casual nature, a lot of casual fans. That's fine. Even has its advantages. It allows you to then spend money to even do more on the competitive side. I guess that's where you want to maintain that ethos. If I was the commissioner, I would rhetorically put out that ethos when I'm meeting with all the MLB owners. Hey, we are a competitive league. We're here to compete. And it's a stain on the organization when there's an apathy that's coming out in this kind of play. Even the series I watched, I don't track the Rockies, so maybe this was a one-off. But the amount of errors I saw on the field were just, I think, symptomatic of the coach who ended up being fired the day after.
Okay.
But he was the coach for 9 years. Oh. His overall record's atrocious. So I'm like, I've watched the Rockies because they're in our league multiple times, and he's Bud Black, same look on his face of looking at his team lose. Honestly, not usually against us. We have always had a kryptonite with the Rockies. I don't know why. Most of their wins probably come off us. But nonetheless, generally watching his team lose, and there's not this competitive nature coming from him. So maybe it was a coach thing. It's hard to gauge, but
yeah, it could be. And also the things is culturally in Colorado, because I remember in New Mexico, and New Mexico is very close in culture to Denver, in the sense that what I remember talking to one of the athletic directors or someone within the football program, and said that our number one competition of UNM sports is the movie theater. Because there's not a whole lot of different things to do depending on the season. And so we're mostly competing with a legitimate, just straight up entertainment. So I wonder if some of that philosophy is also what they're dealing with, because in order to be competitive, you still do need to get butts and seats and sell product.
Which they're doing.
Yeah.
And in a city with a lot of other competition. You have a lot of other professional sports.
Yeah.
You have what's considered one of the most outdoorsy cities in America.
Yeah.
With competition with biking, skiing, snowboarding, outdoor play, everything.
There's
Rock
something
climbing,
going on in
hiking.
that stadium that makes people go back.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But nonetheless.
But anyhow, with that, we saw some other funny things happen over the past, and depending on who you are, you might not consider it funny, but this whole NFL draft and our spotlight of the NFL draft was someone that got drafted in the sixth round. This man was projected to go first, top 5.
First overall.
Yeah,
for a while.
Even for a while, first overall. But Shedeur Sanders drops all the way to round number 6. And for those of anybody that have been following Shedeur Sanders, the quotes of him are endless with, and not even the quotes, but just the demeanor and the way that he carries himself. The massive gold $sign chains, the gold teeth, the diamond teeth, the
reports amongst the executives of various NFL teams saying that he treated his interviews as if they were basically recruiting for college, as if they desperately want him. And so really he's doing the interview as to what he's going to get out of this, which is not how the NFL works. So at the end of the day, it's very different. You ain't in college no more.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about the NIL and how it's changed college, but there's still a culture in college that's very different, and it'll take a while to work that out to where it gets more like the NBA, NFL, just pro sports, where it's a pure pay to play, and we now own you, and you're going to do what we want whenever we want, and that's how this relationship works. So, unless you've really earned it. Right, you're Steph Curry. I'm sure Steph Curry could walk into his office.
When you're a free agent,
which happens after proving yourself for your whole rookie contract.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have there's too many examples of someone being monstrous in college. Reggie Bush, Johnny Manziel, Money Manziel. So the names are endless on people who were literally monsters in college that turned out to be nothing in the pros. And to come in with that sense of entitlement, I don't care who your daddy is.
Yeah,
that's
which the Buffaloes weren't even good.
Right? Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and they weren't even that good. So
no.
I think they had a losing record.
Losing record. I mean, the stats were crazy, but how much of that was Travis Hunter and
against. A lack of competition.
Yeah. Well, they were in the Pac. I don't know. The last season they got moved into the Big 12. So it was like he was putting up numbers, but they weren't winning. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I don't think he's a bad college quarterback. I just think that it's just an example of what pride gets you.
Yep.
It's who he's about to go into a locker room full of grown men with children, and
some of them, lots of them. Talk about that. Unless you're my boy Phillip Rivers, dude. Monogamous, faithful, Christian. You get guys like 7
There's
or 8
a lot
kids.
of guys in that. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, praise God. I want to give those guys honor all day long.
I had the opportunity. I had a friend that played for the Niners. And I actually went and visited him, went around to the locker room, and he was just pointing out to me how many guys are married, single relationships with kids.
Praise God.
It was a lot of them.
Yeah.
There was more of them than the ones that I knew. I'm that guy there was actually way more married men.
That's great.
That were, faithful, not out partying.
Yeah, that's good.
It's just, there's certain things that just get a little bit more attention, but either way, there's guys like that. And obviously there's other guys that are selfishly caring about their money, but there's guys that legitimately, are working hard and working well with what they have, and to entrust your franchise, your job security, all those other things to this young kid that thinks he's everything there is to be and more, sees it as, what can I get out of this? Why would anybody want to be led by that guy?
Yeah, and as you're highlighting, to be a bit more specific to the biggest part of it, this is for the quarterback role.
Yes.
So if he can't command all these grown men and they don't have his respect, he will not succeed at the quarterback level. It doesn't matter how good he is. And that adds this layer that I don't know if he was factoring in or he was just used to, again, this college ethos where you got a bunch of 18-year-olds who are totally fine to have, basically a much more of a peer-to-peer relationship. But as an NFL quarterback, if you're going to succeed, you need to be able to command the rim, and therefore you need to be able to command respect and earn that. So if they were getting an aroma of pride that they knew this is not going to hold up, then yeah, they're going to let him slide. And then yeah, if he earns his way, then he earns his way. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't stop thinking about the fact of there's a difference when you walk into as a freshman on campus. I know it's a little bit weird now because of all those weird COVID years and guys are like in college for like 30 years,
like 34,
for whatever reason.
But
under normal college circumstances, you come in at about 18 and the oldest guys are like 22, maybe 23. But now you are coming in and there's guys in the league that are early 30s. Like you're talking guys that are some might even be 10 years older than you. When you go in there, 15 years older than you for guys that have really been around.
Which in the NFL is a bit more like dog years.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like, I've been around 50 years.
Yeah. Seriously. Yeah, no.
Not.
Yeah, if you've been in the league for 15 years, then like your body is absolutely done for. You are going to be a pile of trash by the time you're
pile of trash with lots of cash.
Dude. Yeah. And so when I think about all that, it's like, yeah, to entrust your franchise to a young kid that thinks those things, like I am not shocked at all. It was crazy happening. And honestly, I was like, yeah, like that's just when you're that prideful, like we've already seen that story played out enough times to see that like that kind of attitude mindset, like does not win. I hope it humbles him. But he's already
the prank calls though. Those are amazing. Dude, I was bummed that they were even getting all up on the it was the like a guy, an assistant to the GM or something for the Titans.
The Falcons. Yeah, somebody in the Falcons organization.
Just watching that video.
But they were so stupid.
They got music and everything. It's this huge thing about him getting drafted. I mean, this is a mockery.
That was like did him so dirty. It was crazy because like on these there's on the Sleeper app, there's people that like live comment on things and they were like, oh man, this is so bad. And like Sleeper is like, they're pretty savage on there as far as I don't know if you've ever caught like some of the news items on there, but like people are pretty savage with their comments. And they were like, oh man, like this is I feel bad, but I laughed so hard. And like all kinds of like, this is so, and then they're like, you must have really did something if the people on Sleeper think that this is bad.
Yeah.
But I just thought that they were foolish for posting themselves on a video. I'm like,
the caller?
Yeah, you haven't seen there's a video and they found out who
that's him calling?
Yes. Yes.
I love him getting roasted too.
There's a video of Shador Sanders, right? That's what you probably saw.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a video of the prank callers making the call.
Oh.
And that's how they found out who it was.
Good. Then I'm glad they got roasted. I just love seeing fools get roasted in their folly. Trapped in their own folly. It's just like wanting to be known.
Yeah.
Expecting that the consequences are going to come raining down. Because, I mean, that whole thing of getting drafted and the party, this ongoing party, even like, cut, stop. Like, it's just like it's such the whole thing's so overblown to me. And, it's just too much. So I loved seeing the prank call. But then to see those guys, I got to find that. I'm glad now that they got roasted. I'm like, you guys are fools. Just let it be a prank call, which is like a 13-year-old thing to do. But like, this is going to go down as like one of the best prank calls.
Seriously, no, in history. But
then you just move on.
But the glory wasn't enough for them.
Yeah.
They had to have their faces painted. So I don't know what happened to them at this point. But But pride cometh before the fall.
Yeah.
Haughty spirit before destruction.
Yep.
So, well, I want to get to our segment. Thus saith the goat, and this segment, basically, what this segment is about. We have some quotes that we like to pull up, and we're going to give our assessment. If this quote is goated, greatest of all time, you're like, hey, this is a great quote. We love to see this. This is something awesome that's happening in sports. Or it is a goat that ought to be sacrificed and burned and thrown in the trash. So I'll start because I think we should end on your quote. It's very edifying. This, however, comes from our boy, one of our favorites, one of our show favorites, Draymondo Green. So Draymond Green, I don't know. I watched like all the Houston highlights just recently. Like he is in like every kind of technical foul issue, whatever it is. You see Draymond Green's big mouth yapping away, or he's flailing and hitting somebody in the back of the head, whatever it is. So this comes after he received a technical foul in Minnesota, in which it's very obvious. I hope that we could play the clip somewhere right here. But
did the Warriors win or no?
They won. No.
Was that series over?
Timberwolves have already won that series. This was game 2. So this was back in game 2. Green gets fouled by Naz Reid, and he makes this flailing thing, I guess, trying to get a call, because that's what Steve Kerr says, and smacks Naz Reid like right in the face. Ends up getting a technical foul for then arguing with the ref after. Dead ball technical foul. So he got a technical foul for hitting him in the face. So in a very heated way, Green says, and I quote, "Looked like the angry black man. I'm not an angry black man. I'm a very successful, educated black man with a great family. And I'm great at basketball and great at what I do. The agenda to try to keep making me look like an angry black man is crazy. I'm sick of it. It's ridiculous." End quote.
I ain't gay no more.
So we have this angry.
I've been delivered.
I love women. This man, this is like, we could sit here for an hour and watch all of Draymond Green's angry black man moments.
Yeah.
Like there's no.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like he's the angry black man.
I mean, is it like a black man thing for starters? Is he saying it's a black man thing? Would you say it's a black man thing, or is that even? Can you even summarize such a large group into something? I mean,
here's the thing. Here's one of the things. I've been in situations where like legitimately not mad, I'm passionate, called like angry multiple times. But I don't have a reputation of like hitting people in the face, kicking guys in the private parts, yelling and screaming and calling people.
So the angry part makes sense.
Yes.
But like, is the angry black man just adding black man to that like a token phrase? Like, what is that?
I wish I knew. Like, I think he's. I don't know.
Like, he must be thinking. He's thinking like, there's a guy. I'm picturing an angry black man as a thing.
Yeah, apparently. Like,
and I'm saying I'm not that guy.
He's that angry black man.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand even what he means by the quote, right? Because nobody's calling him an angry black man.
No,
he's just saying I'm being painted as one
because he keeps getting technical fouls and ejections and stuff like that. Like, so they're just trying to say like, that's the angry black man. But like I am confused. I don't know why.
Yeah, but like it's not.
Unless he means like, oh, because I'm black, they're trying to paint me as an angry person. But whereas, if someone white were to do the same things that I were doing, he wouldn't be. That's my best reach, is like why he would throw black man in there. But I can't recall any NBA
they might
player
call him a different assuming it's trying to be derogatory, they might call him a different name.
Right. But like, I have a hard time understanding like that. But there's a thing like where like, Shannon Sharp did this earlier with his allegations as well. That like it turns like whenever a black guy is in some kind of trouble or in some kind of issue or whatever, it's like it's
because he's black.
Because he's black.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a sellout to me. Unless it's like a self-refuting statement, because you're either saying that there's legitimacy to like, oh well, no, like this is a real black person thing, which is like a self-derogatory thing as a black man, or you're just saying that in the culture, like it's just a victim play.
Right. Yeah.
So you're either saying there's legitimacy to it and I'm not that.
Right. Like there's actually lots of black men that are angry.
Yeah.
Over here, and I'm not
that guy. Or you're just playing the victim. Either way, it's not a good look. So I'm going to disagree with the former. And as far as the latter goes, I'm going to say just take ownership and just say, this is my anger getting the best of me when I do these. You learn this. He probably was told this when he was 5, when he was playing basketball, when he was 10, when he was playing basketball, and 15. I'm sure if you look up, I've never, I would be interested to see his high school record. How many technical fouls did he get? How many games did he foul out? You don't just develop this stuff overnight.
Absolutely.
And when you're known for your defense, right, you're going to err on the side of, I foul out in more games, I get riled up too much. That's what people want to see. Dennis Rodman's similar, just known as a crazy defender, also just known as a crazy guy. So
it's almost better if he would just say, I do play angry.
Yeah. I'm the Hulk out there. Right. Just embrace it.
Yeah.
Or say, this is not how I normally play. I've won enough championships. Like I'm enough of a consistently good basketball player that you have to like know that. And then, there's been nights where I've done very stupid things, but he just wants the successes to wash over the stupidity without owning, no, I've done like not once, not twice. I think he has more technical fouls than anyone in the NBA actively.
It's so bad, but every time too, it's never his fault. I have never once, whenever it happens, the hard foul, the whatever technical foul, it's never his fault.
Yeah.
He never just says, raise his hand.
When he's like bringing both Lakers guys down.
When he's choking Rudy Gobert.
So you're saying both of those guys were equally grabbing your arm? Do you think they talked about this before? Or Draymond, you were grabbing both of their arms, which is why they both fell at the same time.
It doesn't. It's
because it's not choreographed. So they didn't look each other in the eye. They're like, we're about to fall to make it look like Draymond's an angry black guy. Like seriously, I mean, these claims are just so stupid.
Right. Or I'm just gonna. You know what else I'm gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna go get in. I'm Rudy Gobert. I'm actually gonna go get in between another player and Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
In order to get choked out by Draymond Green, because our agenda is to make him an angry black guy.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So he's obviously doing this. So for that, Draymond Green, we are going to throw we're going to burn your quote.
Not a good goat.
That is not a good goat quote. That is a burn goat.
Yeah, it's a burn quote.
So what do you got for us?
All right. My quote for the day is found from the current leader in NBA MVP probability. SGA.
Ooh, I like him a lot. I hope it's good.
And I don't really know the man. I haven't tracked him much, but I love this quote. He said, quote, no matter what happens, let me back up to the top of this article. But when Gilgeous Alexander called his mom to wish her happy Mother's Day on Sunday morning, his mom and dad stayed true to their usual mindset. They did not offer words of athletic wisdom. Instead, they let the Thunder Star figure it out on his own rather than adding pressure. Quote, they don't hype me up or turn me up for basketball games, Alexander said in the press conference when asked by Anscape about his mother. Quote, no matter what happens, she is going to love me. I guess that gives me the ability to go out there and not really care what happens.
Wow.
End quote. And what I love about that quote is that it highlights the nature of the nuclear family, the importance of the nuclear family. Don't know the man well enough to say that's what he's trying to communicate, but that is what he's communicating. He's saying that because of my nuclear family, my dad and my mom love me and they've cared for me, I can go out there and win an NBA championship. That's crazy. That is a connection that I would say is objectively true, but the nuclear family is under such attack that many would hate to make that connection. And many would look to make exceptions into rules and saying, well, let's find a guy who didn't have a good nuclear family and did he win a championship? But that's a fallacy to make exceptions the rule. The rule generally is, and I've heard this from many athletes, I think we've even referenced this on our podcast, of the constant pro athlete gratitude that's extended to mom and dad and for all they've done for them. And they're doing that because they truly do recognize I would not be here without them. And not just because they gave birth to me, which in the world of abortion, who knows how many pro athletes have been killed who would have been pro athletes. So it really does start there. But then it continues on through the youth sports and the sacrifices and the Tuesday nights and the Thursday nights and all, the traveling and just the monetary investment and then just the support, because it doesn't take much for a kid to tap out of something. But when mom or dad or both are at the game and they had a tough loss and they take them out to eat after and they encourage them, that kid's going to get out there the next day. He's going to be out there on his basketball court at home, just shooting hoops or at the local park. If he didn't have that dinner from mom or dad, he might just think, I'm done with basketball. And in a fit of depression because he lost a game or a championship, he's done. Now he's competing for a national championship. So, and I don't know his life story, but I know enough athletes. I've been watching sports long enough to know this is a common theme. And it really just does testify to God's design of the nuclear family being essential to a healthy civilization, from workplace to neighborhoods being safe and enjoyable and peaceable to nations being even peaceable with one another. The nuclear family is a necessary element. It's part of God's very fabric of the world. And I just appreciated the SGA was recognizing the connection between I can go compete for a national championship in the NBA because my mom and dad love me.
Yeah.
So simple, but so true.
Wow. And it's such a amazing thing because it's not like he's saying my mom and my other mom.
Yep. He couldn't say that. And that's that won't be said for a very long time if it even ever happens. And we know it's not even like, well, no, you're just thinking you're biased. Like, no, the statistics of trans children raised with two of the same parent are atrocious. And, once sexual perversion hits a home, the statistics are objective. It's not. So we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that the nuclear family, a mom and a dad staying in a monogamous covenant relationship, produces exceedingly better results in every sector of life. We're highlighting an NBA guy, but in every sector of life, we know the statistics to the contrary. And that's obvious. It's plain in nature. I mean, I appreciate the statistics because they're just stating something with a greater clarity that is very obvious to all men everywhere.
Things that God have already put in place and ordered, and it's just revealing what God has already made in law of the world he designed.
Oh man, dude. If SGA had two moms or two dads, dude, I look forward to that day because that player is going to be so obvious. They have so many other problems in their life. It's going to be easy. Be very apparent. So, I mean, when I say I look forward to it, I mean, I don't really. But it's just going to be so apparent.
It is. It's going to be very obvious. We'll see the differences, no doubt.
Yeah.
But We'll save those jokes and commentary for another day.
Another day.
You know us. Well, that takes us to the end of another CSPN episode. And this is the reason why we do this, to give you guys actual good discernment and commentary on what's happening in the world. We hope that it blesses you. Subscribe on YouTube. You can also catch us on Spotify, other platforms coming soon. Anything else for you?
No. Thanks for coming.